Yo, yo, yo! What's going on, guys? And welcome to another edition of All Eyes on Base DeFi, the weekly show where we talk about DeFi yields, DeFi protocols, and learn something new every week. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into a couple projects, as well as looking into some yield this past week. I know my brother in this has been printing, so. Without any further ado, let's pass it over to my wonderful co-host, Crypto Noah. How are you today, my friend?
Man, I'm doing well. I am doing well. I can't complain. We had a few days of down in the market, right? But the cool thing about DeFi is that you make money no matter where the wind blows. So when there's volatility, whether if it's up or down, people buying, people selling, still charging fees. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some cool stuff today. We're gonna look into OpenxAI. Got some big stuff happening here in the near future that we're gonna get into. And before we get started, for the whole reason why you guys come on the show, got on some ETH Denver swag. I actually have this shirt in black and white, but I wore gray because of the gray in the markets. This is TBTC. Shout out to TBTC. It's magic internet money. And I'm going to show you guys how you can get some crazy magic internet money today. This pool that I'm in has literally been the highest yielding pool that I've ever been in, ever, for a shorter period of time, but it's still extremely high. So how you doing today, man? What you rocking? How's your mental over this crazy last week that we just had?
Well, first of all, I am in full fireside get up today, representing today. In fact, this morning I had the base breakfast show, and I was co-hosting it with Evan, who's the regional lead of Ireland, and it was a base batches special. And he dropped the news that today is the day. It's deadline day if you want to get like an early submission and get some extra support. And I was like, oh shit! So I went to like full fireside mode. I'm like, I gotta get my ducks in a row and get this today. So channeling that fireside energy in me. So I've been just literally just tippy tapping all day, just making sure that the application is in video and all. So that's why I'm wearing this, because I had to do a little video. But yes, in terms of mental health, I must say I don't use leverage. I don't. I learned the hard way. I just lost. It's embarrassing to say, but I probably lost about like 60% of my portfolio on leverage. Like tail end of last year, just like that and meme coins. It's just like, like even when you start to think like, okay, that I'm calling it. This is a local top. This is a local bottom. Like this is all the signs are pointing like towards a trend. We see like these nightmare wicks. It was like a guillotine. It was like a massive wick down. I mean, on Binance, some coins even wick down to zero, causing all these like anybody even with like 1.2x leverage, just got doing like cross leverage. Everyone got wiped. It was absolute destruction. 19 billion in liquidations.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 19 billion in liquidations and 1.6 million traders zeroed out.
Yeah, you don't need leverage in crypto. People use leverage in TradFi to get these kind of returns we can get in crypto without leverage. So it just makes it a little too risky unless you have just like a super fat bag that you can rely on to where a price has to go to literal zero or close to it. It's really not worth it. Like, it's really not worth it. You can get plenty good returns off of just spot holding in crypto and yield farming. That's my leverage.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like when we first started the show, and I've done yield farming before. I did it last cycle. It was basic stuff. It was like pancake swap, and I was like, whoa, they're paying me to do this. Like, just have it. Like, that's amazing. And they had these like syrup pools, and it was all kind of like gamified. It was cute. It was fun. And then in 21, there was like more swaps. It started with pancake swap, and then there was all these other swaps. A bunch of them turned out to be just rugs. And I was like, oh, you know what? If it looks too good to be true, then it often is. But it seems like the industry has come a long way, and going like starting this series, going on this journey, and saying like, you know what? You don't need to look at the absolute, poo-poo coins are paying 10,000% APR because they're not going to be here in a week. You're not going to get that. But actually looking at, and this is what something that you said, looking at tokens that you would hold in your portfolio and then providing liquidity for those ones. Hey, you're happy if you're getting either side. You could be dollar cost averaging in, and you could be happy knowing that you're making fees whether the price goes up or the price goes down.
Exactly. Cool, man. I love that. Yeah, let's dive into it, man. We're going to be talking about OpenxAI, and this one is actually really time sensitive. Did you want to talk about maybe something cool that they got going on in the very near future, or do we want to leave that under wraps?
Well, I know tomorrow is a big day for them. Let's talk about that a little bit later on. Like let's I know you got some other stuff prepped. I'll get their tweet so that I can share in a minute. But tomorrow is a big day for OpenxAI.
Okay. All right, cool. So, guys, I pride myself on doing the best fundamental analysis on the internet. So before we start, like we always say, retweet this show, tag OpenxAI, tag Base, let them know we're doing the Lord's work per usual. And I did make a fully in-depth fundamental analysis video on OpenxAI that I already shared with my community. Basejunkie was able to watch most of it. He says it's good. I'll let you guys determine it.
Solid.
Yeah, I always, anything that I recommend as like a buy call, always like notify my community first. So if you guys want to join our community for free, I think we're the best DeFi education community in the world. Just DM me and say send link, and we can go ahead and get you guys set up. So right here, we're just going to go through like a soft fundamental analysis. We're going to talk through some things, and we're going to talk about like why we think this project, is going to be really, really cool. First off, let's just go to their website. Yeah, guys, so this is the website here, openxai.org. They have a pretty cool site, some pretty cool graphics and things on here. So we're just going to softly, they even have a YouTube channel with lots of information, right? All their socials look really, really good. And they have almost more subs than me, right? A lot of videos on all types of stuff, AMAs, information, so you can get, familiar with what they're doing. But we're not going to really dive deep into that. So if we just go to their docs here, I'm just going to breeze over some stuff, and Basejunkie, feel free to cut me off at any point if we shall dive deeper into anything. So it basically says a peer-to-peer permissionless AI protocol. What Bitcoin did for money, they're doing for intelligence, and anyone, anywhere can launch, own, and monetize AI apps, agents, and services fully on chain. No banks, no corporations, no gatekeepers. Intelligence becomes open, sovereign, and unstoppable. And then they talk about how GPU compute becomes liquid with tokenized credit. So basically, guys, like we talked about on last week's episode, they are a platform. And historically, platforms are the best investments because they allow things to be built on top of, right? It's kind of like owning the land that real estate's built on top of. Same kind of thing here. So it's like Amazon, the best e-commerce platform, Facebook, the best marketing platform, Google, the best search engine platform. Also, Google App Store, Google Play Store, and Apple App Store. These are the top platforms where you can launch apps, right? Ethereum and Solana are great smart contract platforms, and layer ones do the best in terms of crypto other than Bitcoin. So investing into platforms is always very, very appealing to me. And then you have the narrative behind this, to where most of the narratives that blow up in crypto come from TradFi, and AI agents is no different. Artificial intelligence is never going away, right? Our lives are becoming increasingly digital. Our attention spans are becoming shorter and shorter. So we have this obsession with wanting to automate things, and this project is allowing you to basically create your own AI agent and put a service behind it. So it's just like, if you look at how the internet was adopted and how Web3 must be adopted, it has to be adopted in a way to where the common person can use it, make money, benefit, have fun, without really understanding what's happening on the back end. Just like when you go to turn on your lights, if we had to configure our circuit breaker every time we turn on our lights or configure our server every time we surf the web, we would have jack-o'-lanterns and cups with strings. So this is no different. They allow you to basically launch your own app agent. And the cool thing is they have this subscription model to where, so first, I'm getting ahead of myself here. You have other companies that offer like GPU services, hosting services, but they cut cost up to 80% compared to AWS, Google, and Hugging Face. That's another platform here. So if we look at this, so this is cost, censorship, and privacy. So when you look at cost and energy, they're cheaper than AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and Hugging Face. When you look at content censorship, meaning what agents you can make, right? What things you can monetize, they give you more free reign than these products. So you could want to spin up something with AWS and they're like, oh, actually, we don't want to host for that, right? Same with Google Cloud, same with Azure, same with Hugging Face. And then when you look at ownership and privacy, they are way off the charts as they let you own the AI agents that you make. So it's just like, this is really cool because it creates a whole economy. So like, let's say, and Basejunkie and I were talking about this before we jumped on the call. Like we're probably going to experiment with making like some kind of agents that can help, find the best DeFi yields for you. So you can like automate your yield farming journey. And now they give you two options when it comes to monetizing this. You can sell the whole thing. So like, let's say, Basejunkie and I create this crazy agent and it's just doing really, really well. We could sell the whole thing. Like you get all the data and everything that comes with it, or we can create a SaaS product where you can subscribe to it and pay like a monthly fee or biweekly fee or whatever we want to determine. So that is the kind of stuff that creates like a whole economy, which is really, really good. They didn't raise VC capital, so the tokenomics they're pretty good, right? You do have a lot of tokens that need to be unlocked. So if I go here, you can see that right now the market cap's 5.5 million. But the FDV, which takes into account all the tokens, is 46.7 million. So it's a huge disparity. And looking at this chart shows when everything is going to be unlocked, right? So after the first year, the green gets 3 million, the blue gets 1.6, so on and so forth. And one thing I don't know is that I don't know if it's like it's gradually getting unlocked throughout the whole year. It's probably that way, or if after 1 year they all get unlocked. I have no idea. That part wasn't clear. So if, OpenxAI team, if you're watching, give us clarity on that. But you have a lot of tokens being unlocked all the way to year 8 is when all the tokens are going to be unlocked. So it's 8-year vesting, right? It's at the bottom, you see why 8.
I'll jump in here for a moment because, I think we're going like, deep dive into OpenxAI, and I think for a lot of people watching, maybe they've never heard of this project, but tomorrow is a big day for them, which is why we're talking about it at this moment. I think the thing that really makes it, well, the thing that I'm personally excited about is this mini app factory that they're spinning up, that's going live tomorrow. I was fortunate to have a call with their founder recently, and I think he's in Dubai. Yeah, Dubai right now.
Come to Dubai. Sorry, I have to say that every time Dubai is mentioned.
Yeah, in Dubai. Yeah, at a large event. I think they're actually meeting some of the Base team. But this mini app factory goes live now. If you are building on Base, you will know that mini apps are the future. It's everything that we're sort of looking towards. And as Base's mission is to make the Base app the everything app, really we have mini apps are the driver for making utility on it. Now, for a lot of people, so I'm working on Fireside. Fireside is a mini app on the Base app. It's spaces for the Base app, but I have a team of 3 cracked out devs and myself. Now, not everybody has a developers team, but everybody has an idea. So what I find interesting about this is that by using their mini app factory, which goes live tomorrow, if you have an idea and you don't have the resources, if you don't have the dev team, you can whip up a mini app just by you can vibe code a mini app just through OpenxAI, and I think that's going to open up the floodgates for creativity. And what you were saying before about the apps. One thing that I find very interesting about it is that you can either, if you create a bot, a trading bot, or if you create a game, you can have the mini app and just be autonomous. Just it's yours. You can build a community around that. Fantastic. If you're a serial creator, you can sell the entire business really as an NFT to somebody else, and they can have that. Or you can make multiple copies, and you've created a SaaS product, whereas previously you would need a lawyer, like domain hosting, register the business, get the bank account. You have to jump through all these hurdles to make it just to be able to offer this product. You can do it all on chain without those barriers to entry. So I'm personally I've been thinking of some ideas, like things that I would like to do, mini app ideas that I would love to create that I don't want to bog down my dev with. I want to see if I can create this myself, because and then see if it has a good market fit. And the fact that they're putting the tools in the hands of the people, it really gives, I feel like it levels the playing field so that creative people can really get their ideas out there in front of the base community.
Yeah, that's huge. Doing it right from the old phone, it's pretty crazy. And you just have to think, since this is a base application and it's going to be a base app, man, imagine when celebrities come on board. Like right now, like he was saying, base app is invite only, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine when they open the floodgates. Coinbase has a huge war chest. It's definitely going to be celebrities coming on board. And just like celebrities wanted to create their own NFTs back in the day, you don't think they're going to want to create their own AI agents that could provide value to their communities? Oh, they're definitely going to want to.
But question though about celebrities, because I think there's like two. It's quite a debatable point. It's like, yes, celebrities bring eyes, it brings attention, fantastic, but historically, in 99% of cases, they've purely been value extractive.
Yes, and this is why this kind of product will help weed out that. So, like for example, what you're talking about with NFTs, people can create their own NFTs and promise the world, right? And everyone buy them, and then they sell them, and then boom, everything goes to zero. But if you create an AI agent, if it doesn't function, then you don't lose your whole farm, right? If you create an agent, I can't even think of an example. Like let's say you're Stephen Curry, right? And instead of dropping some NFTs that can go to zero anytime, what if he creates an AI agent that mimics his shooting program and basketball players buy it that want to be better shooters? So it kind of takes you through his workout every day. It tracks your progress. It shows you what you need to work on. You can integrate it with the cameras. You can like track your follow through, if your elbow is going up, if everything's aligned, if your head is in the right position. So it's just like, it'll be easier to determine if an AI agent is more valuable than it is to buy an NFT and just hope that it goes up in price. You know what I mean? I think it'll be easier to weed out. Like I remember Floyd Mayweather, same thing. He launched some NFTs, I believe, and they went to zero. What if he created like an agent that took you through his boxing program, and you can be like Floyd? Like it just allows for things to be a lot easier and automated to where the celebrity doesn't have to be as hands-on. Because I think with the NFTs, they were like, we can do this and this, and then they get bogged down and they can't do it. But if you're able to clone yourself and clone your program, I think it can be a lot better. Like there will always be downsides, but I think creating an AI agent, I think that could be pretty cool. And
100%. I think that's a really a good use case, in fact, for celebrities, because yes, as you said, celebrities, like we can't speak to their intentions. Like the fact is they have been value extractive, but people are like, did they go into it looking to make a buck, or is it just other responsibilities, other fish to fry? They can't give a long-term commitment. Exactly what you're saying. Cloning and then giving something personalized. That's brilliant. In fact, did you know Jesse? He's been working on that. He's been working on Jesse XBT for a while now.
No, what is that?
So basically, he said that he's trying to get an AI version of himself to deal with a lot of the inbound, I guess, inbound traffic. Because let's face it, I mean, I saw him at San Francisco, like on-chain summit, and then at Basecamp. The man is a celebrity, like literally.
He was beating
It
people up with a stick.
is like, okay, so guys, make a line. You can touch me. 15 seconds.
Ah!
It wasn't far off, but like honestly, there was a long line. Actually, he's like, listen, I want everyone. I understand that people want a photo. Make a line. You know, you can tell me what you do, but let's try and keep it to like 30 seconds, and let's make through this line. And it was like across the entire field. Like that, but I get it. You know, so for somebody who has, you know, the willingness, the desire to support, but just lacks the time, so to create a clone version of yourself that would respond in certain ways, and you know, can forward on the higher signal stuff. Yeah, I think that could be a very efficient use of time going forward.
Yeah, and I also like what they did with their token. Like you can get paid in OpenxAI. Like they have a burn-in mechanism, so it's a true utility token, not just the utility token that people were talking about in the past. And then I want to show just one more screen on the docs, because this right here, if this certain thing takes off, it can actually be really revolutionary. This is the innovation and breakthrough section in their docs, and like me and Basejunkie were talking about, what was this, like 2 episodes ago, when we were talking about how the S&P 500 is now tokenized on Centrifuge on Base. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about how if that was around before like FTX and everything crumbled, it could have saved, I'm not going to say saved, the bear market wouldn't have been as intense, because that was a result of forced selling. People were over leveraged, right? And if your collateral is the same thing that you're speculating on, if the value of your investment goes down, your collateral goes down as well, and then you get liquidated, like you're forced to sell. So if S&P 500 was on chain and it was around back then, and S&P 500 was your collateral, even during a recession, the S&P 500 might drop 10%, but while crypto is dropping 90, people wouldn't have been forced to sell. So it's like what they're saying here is DeFi 1.0, tokens as collateral. So that's what we just talked about. Bitcoin, ETH, even stable coins as collateral. DeFi 2.0 is RWAs as collateral. And this is kind of what we're talking about, using the S&P 500 as collateral. You have Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, walking around excited about getting US assets on chain, you know, treasury bonds, and tokenizing these assets because it extends the global footprint and reach so that people all around the world can use these things as collateral. But what they're saying here, DeFi 3.0, is using compute as collateral, right? And that's huge, because you want your collateral to be in something that isn't fluctuating in value so much, so that whatever you're using to speculate on, they're not correlated. And, you know, I'm no expert on like servers and things like that, but I'm 99.9% sure that they're not going to be fluctuating in value as much. So being able to like use this as collateral, if that takes off, dude, it's going to help create stabilization in this space, which will attract a lot of institutional investors, because institutions use leverage. They just use it in a safe way. And it's not the safest thing to use Bitcoin as collateral if you're speculating on crypto. So I think that's pretty huge.
Yeah, I think the demand is only going to increase with AI and all these photos being generated and AI videos, all this computing power that's happening. Like it has to happen. It comes from somewhere. Like it must be, you know, getting generated in certain places, getting hosted on other places. The fact that it's like 80% cheaper, and there is a model where it's like your computing is the leverage. Like it's yeah, bullish on that. But let's not let's not have the entire show about OpenxAI.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay. You're right. You're right.
tomorrow's a big day for them. I actually have one question, and
Yeah.
maybe it's something that it's a question that I've been thinking about for a while. This is DeFi related, but also I wonder maybe that could be an app that we create. But we've been doing tranching, which is the volatility, having different channels, having a narrow channel to capture the highest the highest range, get the highest returns, a medium channel, and a wide channel. You were teaching me about tranching. Now, I've always wondered, why isn't it possible for to automatically have a 1% up or down, a super tight range, a bot that follows the chart, and whenever the chart is moving up, it just automatically rebalances, and rebalances, like just following the chart and giving extremely concentrated liquidity at all times.
Well, Aperture, you can do programmable rebalancing actually. So you can say, if the market rises by this much, rebalance me here. If the market's outside of my range for this amount of time, rebalance me here. What you're talking about is something, and actually, our team actually helped Aperture build their product. I met up with the guy back in 2022. We met up at a coffee shop right around the corner here in San Francisco. He was like, man, what would you want to use? And I was telling him, what you're saying is called perpetual rebalancing, because once it rebalances, then it's like, okay, boom, you have to like reset it. So they need something to where you can constantly set it as things are moving. But the only downfall, or I would say risk with that, is impermanent loss, because as it's moving up and down, you're locking in that IL, right? So if it moves back into your range, then had you just stayed there, you wouldn't have experienced as much impermanent loss. So that would be a reason why people wouldn't want to do it as much. And that's a good feature that the tranching strategy kind of takes advantage of, because you kind of cover all the bases, right? Like just going back to the fish example, your wide range is to catch whales, your whale hunting, right? Big candles that only happen a couple times a year. And then your narrow range is to catch the fish that's, the schools of fish that's always swimming around, that you can always catch, right? The abundance. But you just never know when they're going to come through. So you have multiple nets set up to where, hey, even if the school of fish comes in, you can catch it with the little net and eat. But if a whale comes in once in a blue moon, you always got your net in the water, kind of thing. But hey, it might be something we can build. What were you going to say?
Speaking of whales, I mean, Zora has had a whalerific week. I mean, when everything's been melting down, and so, I mean, look, I know you're about to share your Zora come up, but when we started the show, I'll be honest, I wasn't a big Zora bull. The only thing that I was bullish about Zora was like, okay, you know what, Coinbase is bullish on Zora, so they're not going anywhere. I didn't really see it. I had to create a coin. It was a couple thousand. I'm like, it's I wasn't really feeling it. I've since changed my tune, and for a few reasons. It's the second time I've been wrong about Zora, so I need to stop fading them. But when we started the series, I did a Zora ETH pool and a Zora USDC pool, and they were both printing fine. It wasn't anything to write home about. I wasn't very impressed, and so I switched out of Zora into Golden, and then recently I've just been doing some OpenxAI with Weth pool. But you, my friend, you hung in there with Zora, and you had that wide net, you had that whale catching net. So do you want to?
Absolutely, man.
Please.
So with Zora, I didn't even do a tranching strategy because, so a couple things. I do a tranching strategy when I think something can break out at any moment. And it's not that I didn't think it was going to break out in any moment, but I just didn't have any. If Coinbase were to say, okay, the base app is going to be open the floodgates to anyone in a month. Okay, Zora's pumping in a month. So then I'm like, okay, the big fish are going to come in because they're opening the gates for them to fit, right? I do know that Zora can pump at any second, but I didn't have any inclination like, okay, it's probably going to pump boom, within a month. So I set up the tranching strategy when I think that, okay, at any moment, boom. Other than that, I'll just have one range to kind of catch some big whales, but also some small ones. But this here, I'll just show you guys. I'm gonna share my screen here. And this, I just got to go over this methodology again for those of you who weren't on the call when we talked about time in the market versus trying to time the market. Basejunkie, we're going to use it as a case study. We're all learning here. So my good brother was trying to time the market, and he was in some pools that were paying him pretty good. So he was still, doing good in his golden pool, and I'm that OpenxAI pool, that one's still probably doing pretty good. This is what we talked about: time in the market versus trying to time the market. So this shows the value of 10K invested into the S&P over a 19-year time span, January 03 to December 2022. If you're in it all days, your 10K is worth almost 65K. If you miss just the 10 best days, your performance is more than cut in half, and you only have less than 30K, and so on and so forth, till you get to the point when you miss the 40 best days or more, you actually start to lose money, okay? So now, there is no chart for this in DeFi, but it's the same thing. In DeFi, you get paid off of volume, right? So you want to be in range when these candles happen, right? So like right here, I wasn't in Zora when this happened, right? I wasn't up on Zora yet, but I was able to catch these candles, right? And as you can see, you have this one, you have this one, and this one. Like, it's like 4 or 5 candles that stick out in comparison to the rest. Okay, this is Zora USDC. Now, if I go to Zora ETH, because I'm in both, let me just show you guys real quick. This is my range for Zora USDC, and if I go ahead and measure it out, because I'm gonna show you guys how much I was able to get paid, it's 61% wide. That's not too crazy, and you can see that the market actually did go outside of it for a little bit, and I did have to rebalance because my range capped off like right here. So I rebalanced it, and then I went ahead. This was like 4 or 5 days ago, and then I was able to capture it. It went out again, and it came back in, right? So it's just like you can catch a big fish in your net, but sometimes that back fin might go out of it for a second, but it comes back in, right? If I look at my Zora ETH, same thing here. You can see that this candle stood out. Let me get my drawing tool. I wasn't here for this one. Look at how small these candles were. And this is when I hopped in and me and Basejunkie were talking. He's like, I'm not really excited about this. Like, I'm making more money in golden. Like, it's not going crazy. But then out of nowhere, boom, you never know when the best days are going to come. You just want to have your net in the water so that when they do, your performance isn't cut like this, right? So now if we go to revert, so these are my 2 positions. And as you can see, look at this fee APR, 1,400%, guys. Let me do some math real quick. So if I'm getting 1439 divided by 12, that's 119% per month. If I do that by 30, that's 3.9, pretty much 4% a day passively. Guys, when I was trading Forex, my goal was to make 2% a day while sitting in front of the charts for hours, getting up at 4 a.m. But now I'm able to make 4% passively without doing a goddamn thing. And the cool thing is that not only am I making this good money in fees, but Zora went up like 60% in one day because it got listed on Robinhood. So all the times when I was in the pool and it was making 100 to 300% APR, when me and Basejunkie were talking about it, I'm taking half those rewards and buying more Zora and ETH. I'm taking the other half and I'm compounding into the pool. So all of my rewards that I have been accumulating since I've been in this position for almost 2 months, that also went up 60%. And if I break this down here, guys, when I first hopped in it, when the announcement was made, this was 6,000% plus, right? So 4 days and 22 hours, guys, I was able to make almost $1,000 off of just 4,000 in pooled assets. That's pretty crazy.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible.
That's pretty crazy. And then if I scroll down to this one, so that was Zora ETH. This is Zora USDC, 1,303%. Position age, again, 4 days and 21 hours. And I was able to make $687 paid out in Zora and USDC. The only reason why it's not higher is not just because of the volume, but USDC, ETH kind of have made a big recovery, or not a big recovery. It made somewhat of a recovery. So that's why these rewards are worth more, even though the APR is similar. Whereas to this one is USDC, and USDC is stable versus ETH going up. So, and then just to point something out, guys, this is like that intricate stuff that, you know, I feel like every show there's a little intricate detail that we kind of uncover, and this is not planned. So this is what I like to call liquidity mountain. Okay. When you're providing liquidity, it basically rewards smart liquidity providers. So these bars are where all the liquidity providers have their liquidity placed. And these two purple lines is where I have my liquidity placed. Now you can see that most of the liquidity is concentrated between these two ticks. When you're providing liquidity, you have something called ticks, and the tick is basically a bucket of price range. So like if you're in Zora ETH, Zora USDC, and let me go here to talk about what I mean here, because this is really important. So right now the price of Zora is 9 cents. Okay, so each tick represents a price range, not a single price. So that means that from 1 cent to 5 cents can be one tick, just like on Ethereum USDC. $1,000 ETH to $1,500 ETH could be one tick. It can be two. Each tick or each pair has their own tick price range. So most of the liquidity providers have most of their liquidity concentrated in these two ticks, and for whatever reason, these two ticks. And that tells me that they probably think that price can go below here. But the cool thing about yield farming is that by casting a wide net, let's see if we can use the fish example to help make this make sense. If price goes up a few points and then it goes to this tick, it's not a lot of liquidity here, but I have liquidity here. So that means I have less competition, and I'm going to make a lot more fees if price goes into any of these ticks within my purple lines, and especially these ones, because there's less liquidity here than it is here. So you have an opportunity to where, like right now, I'm sharing fees with all these liquidity providers because price is in this tick, and it's a lot of liquidity concentrated in this tick. But when the price moves here, and this happens to me all the time, let's say people are sleeping and they don't take the time to rearrange. If price is here, I'm making a hell of a whole lot more fees. And this is why I was making 6,000% APR, because price moves into some ticks to where it wasn't a lot of liquidity concentrated. So most of the liquidity that was being used was mine, and you make more money because you have less competition because there's less liquidity in these ticks.
That's solid. That's solid, and it makes complete sense. You know, less mouths to feed, so you can get a bigger slice of the pie.
Exactly.
Well, dude, first of all, congratulations for Zora. You know, getting listed by Robinhood. I mean, that was. I mean, what day of the week was that? Because like the markets melted on the Friday.
I asked you in our group chat. I was like, dude, what the hell's going on with Zora? And you were like, Robinhood list. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. I was not expecting that. That was on Thursday.
I mean, literally, I think like for myself, it wasn't a bad weekend because, you know, I have a creator coin, Basejunkie creator coin, and I think last week it was maybe someone called it at like 20K, and I was like, yeah, well, I didn't really care that much, like boohoo, like Zora. I'm not a Zora creator, but like today it went up to like 250. I mean, now it's like 170 or something. But like since the Robinhood listing, I think that was a signal for a lot of people. Like even myself, who was passively in the game, in the Zora game, but like not really giving it much effort. A Robinhood listing, like they don't list anybody.
They
like
don't.
that is a huge indicator that there must be things that we don't know about that give them the confidence to say that these guys are a horse we want to back. Exactly. And then yesterday or this, like in the past 2 days, Zora streaming's come out. More people are coming onto Zora. People are earning money. Like Zora really.
They have came out. I didn't even know that.
I mean, it's beta right now. I don't have access yet. I think Bill's getting access in a couple of days. I'm going to reach out to them to see if I can also get access. But yeah, dude, it's very very early days. There was a Zora TV token, and they ran it up to like 5 mil like yesterday. Yeah,
Damn.
money
Yeah.
is flowing on Zora, man. There's a lot of money flowing. Like I woke up this morning to some fees from my token, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about Zora. As a creator on there, you're automatically like a liquidity provider because you get the fees from your own token.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
getting the token fees when your token is really, really cheap, like it is now, relatively speaking. If it goes up, a couple 100%, like yours did, like you said, you woke up, made a couple $100 without having to do anything.
Dude, I mean, I probably put in like $300 into Zora, like into my own token, like I don't know, a long time ago, maybe a month ago, and it's like, okay, I've got like a couple percent. I had like 2% on my supply, but then it unlocks daily, and now I have 3%. But I put in $300 like to begin with, and I woke up to $300 in fees, and I was like, hey, that's and now I have my tokens. I'm supporting other people. Like I didn't take any money out. I just buy other creators, and it's just like sharing the love, really.
Exactly. Yeah, it's remember we keep saying that. I think we're gonna go into a blow off top. And that's when most of the gold miners are gonna come in to mine for gold. And people are definitely gonna be mining Zora. Like imagine how many fees are gonna be generated once they open the floodgates and now anyone can download Base app. And when I say that, it's like once that
There's
more
sorry.
liquidity providers are going to come on too. So it's going to be more competitive at the same time. So that's why
Mhm.
it's good to do it now. Like you see how low of liquidity we're in most of the ticks other than 2 ticks. So it's just like, if it wasn't for that Robinhood listing, Zora probably would have been in the shitter as well, just like the rest of the market. But that kind of helped prop it up and increase the fees. So
Big time. And I think as well, when the markets are down, people are looking left and right. It's like, okay, everyone's looking for a parachute. It's like, what's like, where can I, like, I'm losing money. All my tokens are down. Oh wait, there's this oasis over there that everything's going up over there. Like, ooh, let me mosey on over and have a look, and then get involved. And then you start making money there, and it's like, oh, actually, you know, it's crazy. I think since I've started to care about it, Zora is. I noticed it the other day. It wasn't today, but yesterday. Zora was the first app I opened on my phone when I woke up.
oh man, that's how you know
Like,
it's real.
yeah, like it's habit forming. Um, yeah, very. I mean, look, you put a lot of good content out there, so I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to buy your token. You need to buy your token as well, man.
I know, man. I'm kind of like you, and I'm like, oh, but I need to not do that because this kind of been a wake up call for me too. Um, man, one thing I wanted to ask you about, we talked about this. Oh, it's not showing anymore. When I go on Stargate, and it's a bridge that I use popularly, Zora is an option to bridge to. So it's just like, what are they doing on the back end? Like, I don't know what to say. Like I know they're not making their own chain because they're on base, but maybe they are. Like
I
what
think
is
that
it?
was something. I think I thought that's something that they looked at before, because Zora is a company that's pivoted like 4 or 5 times. Not in a bad way. They just tried something, didn't work. Tried something else, didn't work. Tried something else, just looking for a market fit. And I think that's actually a good lesson to be learned. To be honest, like if you haven't got market fit, you can't flog a dead horse. Yeah, and if you're determined to be successful, you need to listen to the market, listen to what the people are telling you, and then pivot. And don't be too proud, too proud to make the adjustment.
Yeah, man. Look at this. This is Stargate, and they have all the chains right here, right? Polygon, Moonbeam, like Blast. I just got some liquidity off of Blast that was locked on there. I was so happy that I was able to use to buy more Zora. But look, Zora is one of the options. Like they're their own chain, man. Like what is that? What does that mean? What does this mean?
It could be alpha. It could be outdated. But what is alpha?
This is new. This is new. I noticed this a few weeks ago, and I use this bridge all the time. So
okay. Oh, maybe it's alpha. Maybe you're onto something. But what else? What else is alpha? On the base app. So Zora is its own application. Base app is its own app. You can go through Zora as like a mini app, and it's kind of like, it's just not the best user experience. It's better to just go straight on the Zora app. But now on the base app, it has a coming soon Zora on there. So
coming soon, and what do you mean exactly?
as in, like, it's going to be even further integrated into the base app, so you won't have to open up the website through the app. You can have easier use and just buy the coins straight through the base app.
Man, I wonder if Zora is going to be like their own L3. You think maybe that's what they're doing?
If they are, I think you're the first one that I've heard to say that.
Yeah, because it's just like Stargate isn't just going to put them on there for nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's just like, what other? I don't know what other option that there can be.
Okay, well, it's one to ponder on. But let's think about that off air, because I know we're running up towards the hour mark, and I'll tell you about my yield farming this week, and then if you can, for a little bit, I would love to know more about your thoughts on Syndicate, because I am a Syndicate bag holder. That thing has been kicking my butt.
Man, I'm wondering if we should like make Syndicate the theme of the show next week, because it'll get a little long. It'll get a little long.
Okay. Well, look, nothing's happening in Syndicate land. So I'm going to share. Am I sharing screen?
No.
Yeah.
Now you are.
All right. So that's Syndicate. Nothing's really happening there. Oof. Just affected
Man,
by the.
I just realized that we dropped a term that we didn't explain what it actually was. Are you familiar with what a layer 3 is?
In loose terms, but please.
So basically, it usually describes an app-specific rollup that settles to an L2. So like a layer 2 settles to an L1, but an L3 settles to an L2. So I'm wondering if Zora is basically going to be like an L3 that settles to base while base settles to ETH. So yeah, could be. But yeah, let's talk about your pools.
All right. I mean, yeah, could be. So Golden has been my golden child for a few weeks. It served me well for several weeks, in fact. But I did exit my golden pool. So look, for a while it was, in fact, on the 4 hour, you can see, because it's still a relatively new token. So you see this consolidation. I was doing this through September, just like, oh yeah, oh, this sideways. Yeah, I love it. In fact, let me see my All right, let's see. Here we are.
Oh, you have it on market cap. You got hit price.
Yeah. So look, I think we even widened it here, but for a while I was doing some look at this range. Like, oh yeah, this was so good. I think this was like 5% a day. And I was just loving it. It wasn't mega numbers, but there weren't a lot of liquidity providers, and it was charging a 1% fee. And then it came down. Fees dropped. Like, in this period, the volume was about 200-300K a day, and then maybe like a week and a half ago, they cut it in half to like 100K a day, and it's just, but very, very, very just sideways action, just enough to keep going. So it seems like a nice place to have some very tight ranges. But I actually closed my position when I'm not even sure. Like, is it possible to see old pools
Yeah.
or maybe closed? There we are,
Yeah.
closed. All right, so I closed golden.
If you click it, it might show you the date.
So I think this is the one, because this was a very wide one. This was the very narrow one. I only had like $100 in here, but I was just trying to capture some of this movement. But this is the one I held on to the longest. Okay. Anyway, the golden price came down, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, I'm bullish on golden. I think golden will have a catalyst at some point, which is just going to shoot the price up. And I'm like, do I want to have impermanent loss? Do I want to continue providing liquidity, or now that I've basically DCA down out of it? That's kind of how I looked at it. I'm like, okay, so now I'm fully in golden. I've got no ETH left on this pool. I've got golden at a better price than I would have if I just guessed. What are your thoughts there?
Well,
Exiting a position if you're bullish on the long term of it, so that you get a better price.
Well, how was it paying before you got out?
Not great, and they cut the fees to like 100K a day in volume. I think maybe on
What was like your
maybe
APR?
like it never showed the APR. That was a weird one, and I think that's why it was paying so well, because it
you were
wasn't
on.
showing the APR. So I think people were put off by that to provide liquidity. But for a while, it was. In fact, on the first week I did it, it was paying like 10% a day, and then after that, I would say between 5 and 8% a day.
Well, if you were on V4, V4 doesn't work on revert, and that's probably why you couldn't open your revert and see. So I always click V3 because it's right now it's more compatible with the tracking services and websites that we use in DeFi. But if the yield went way down and you're still bullish on the asset, sometimes, let me give you an example. Like one token that I'm bullish on is one called Native, right? But the native ETH liquidity pool is pretty shitty. So just because you own it doesn't mean you have to provide liquidity in it. But if you wouldn't own it, you shouldn't provide liquidity in it. So sometimes it's a better idea to get into a better pool like Zora ETH, Zora USDC, or some of the other pools that we talk about inside of our community. Sometimes it's better to get into a pool with two assets that you'll still hold, but you take those rewards and still buy all the tokens that you're bullish on. So like native, shitty LP. So I'm not LPing in it, but I'm still taking my rewards and using it to buy more native. So in this scenario, it might be better. Not might, right now it'll be better if you're in like a Zora ETH or a Zora USDC pool, and you can take some of your rewards and buy golden. Because you want to be in the highest paying pools that you can, while also anticipating future volume increasing or at least staying high or not dropping too much, and using those rewards to buy what you want versus just being in it just because you would own it. Like that's why I hopped out of my ETH SPX position, because for like I think it was like for a month, the yields was like under 100% APR, and I didn't see any other catalyst that would make it pump as much as it would for some other assets that I'm holding and other LPs that I was in. So after a while, it might be good to hop out. And if you miss the boat, and like let's say, because we talk about time in the market, let's just say one day, boom, golden's printing 10% a day again. You want to have some kind of rules, because you're not going to catch it all, but you want to play the percentages. And if you do that long term, you'll be right most of the time. And like if you were to talk to Golden and like, you've been talking to them and they're like, hey man, we're going to do a push on this day. Like you are in the OpenxAI pool, OpenxAI ETH pool, because they have their news that's coming out tomorrow. So it's just like, okay, there's something that I know of that has a high chance of increasing the price, thereby increasing the volume. So I'm gonna stay in this. But for golden, there isn't any date or marketing push to where you can come up with an idea in your mind as to why volume will increase in the short term. So
Yeah, that's a very valid point. So just on that particular point, I am providing liquidity for OpenX. We've just come out of range. OpenX is not performing as well as ETH. It's just been coming down here. It looks like we're in range, but I think we actually just slipped out of it. Not by a long way. Here we are. It's quite a wide range. I wanted to capture a lot of the upside. Is there a way to inverse this chart? Yeah, there we go. That makes more sense.
do you have it marked on your deck screener?
I'm not sure I did this one.
It's always good to do that first. That way you can see it. That way you can be checking your LPs on the go. Because I don't sign into my DeFi wallet on my phone at all, ever. Not as secure.
Yeah. I'm not sure what this level was, but it looks like we come down. Maybe I had it a little bit higher.
See if you can pull it up on Revert. It's a V3 position. It'll probably work.
When you showed me Revert, I was super impressed with it. But then I was in that V4 golden pool, and it wasn't working for me. And I was like, oh, you know what?
It doesn't work on V4 positions just yet.
I don't know, man. I think it says page unresponsive, but to be honest, I think it's my laptop. I'm giving it too much to do.
I gotta say,
I'll try it when I'm not.
We're at 266 people on our stream. I think that's the most we ever had.
Have we not broken 300 yet?
I don't know. I don't remember, but hey, to all you guys watching, we really appreciate y'all from the bottom of our hearts. Y'all could be doing anything, but y'all here learning about DeFi, and we appreciate it. Let us know if there's any other strategies or things you guys ever want us to cover. We do respond to questions on chat.
Absolutely. And yes, today we were talking about OpenX because tomorrow is a big day for them. I have a wide range with a lot of space for the upside, anticipating a pump on tomorrow's news. And you have been printing on Zora. Zora is it's not a dark horse. It's like the shining pony. It's like the white stallion, just gleaming in gold.
It's a white stallion that shits out cash.
Yeah, it's honestly, man, it's the unicorn. It's the when I spoke to Jesse and when I've heard him both times on stage, somehow in the conversation it was like creator coins, Zora. I'm like, bro, okay, I get it. You're a fan, but he knows things that we don't know, and maybe he's just dropping alpha.
It's a lot of things that are going to be uncovered, and it's kind of like they're the weathermen and they're predicting the tide. We just got to have our surfboards in the water so that even if we're asleep, we can catch that wave.
That's it, man. That's it. Well, dude, let's put a nice ribbon on this, and let's talk syndicate next week. And I'll just be praying for that position, hoping for it to just not die further.
Dude, it'll pump eventually. I think I'm gonna make a video on syndicate as well, and I'll send it to you beforehand, per usual in our community. Mm-hmm. And you guys, let us know what you think about this episode. This is our first time doing a fundamental analysis softly on stream. Yeah, just give us any and all feedback that we can do to make this show better. Because I'm not just, my mom used to say, I'm not just talking for my health. This is for you guys. So yeah, man, another great show in the books.
Awesome, man. All right, well, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who tuned in today, and hopefully you learned something. We do host these shows every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. UTC, always on Base DeFi. If you want to learn more and get in contact with Crypto Noah, we will share a link to the community. It's a free community where you can ask questions about DeFi and just deepen your knowledge. Anyway, until next time. In fact, Noah, any final thoughts?
No, I think you hit the nail on the hammer. Time is of the essence, guys. We would love to meet you, join our community. We're a group of people with everyone's best interest. We're all just here making money together. So yeah, hope to see some of y'all soon.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay based. Peace out, everyone.